Teresa, would you like to share information about the Precious Life event?
Yes, we have a couple of things going on in March. On March 13th, we're going to have a pop-up sale in the parking lot outside with Easter gifts, Mother's Day gifts, all the things that are collected throughout the year that we have not used because of no live events, but things that people probably want to put in baskets or give away. And then to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, we were gifted with craft beer and wine. So we thought we'd open it up to the community, and we'll have 10 winners. Tickets are now available, and they'll be available that day. And the 10 winners will be pulled that day on the 13th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. All are welcome. Face masks, of course, and social distancing are required. Thank you.
Thanks, Teresa. And just a reminder that the Americana Awards are this weekend, and you can contact the Chamber office today if you want additional information. Also, another reminder about the art contest sponsored by Printmasters to help the students in the Los Al community express themselves through art. We had great participants the first 2 rounds, and the next round is due on March 10th. The topic is your school, home, or community. So if you know any students in the Los Al School District or that live in Los Al, please encourage them to participate. And I want to thank our judges, as well as those of you that have donated money for our prizes. And we look forward to receiving more great art. And now for the moment we've been waiting for, our presentation by 2 illustrious leaders in our community, Mark Chirco, Mayor of the city, and Chet Simmons, the city manager. Take it away, guys.
Thank you, Nisi, and thank you to everyone for being here this morning and being willing to listen to Chet and I chat about what's going on in the city. I will let me put up a PowerPoint presentation here. All right. Can you all see the slide?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So again, thank you to all of you. We know that businesses and nonprofits are the lifeblood of the city. You know, without their success and existence, we would not have the quality of life we have or the sense of community that we have. Again, I'm joined by Chet Simmons, our city manager. Poor Chet joined the city right as COVID happened, but he and his staff have done an amazing job keeping the city going, and not just maintaining things. They've expanded our programs, our capabilities, and they've done an excellent job, as we'll describe. They are the ones who do the true work of the city. We're also joined by 3 of my council colleagues. Thank you for joining. One of the benefits to the business community and to the entire city is that we have a council made up of people who really are just trying to do the right thing for the city, focused on city business, on what's right for our residents and our businesses. And you'll see no drama in our city council, which you can't say about every local city council. And many years ago, you couldn't say about our city council here in Los Alamitos. So that's a testament to all of them as well, that they keep their eye on the city business. The past year we know has been difficult for everyone, and our businesses are no exception. You've all had to deal with a very real health risk, government shutdowns, mixed messages from the state and federal government, additional regulations like Cal OSHA regulations, difficult decisions on employees and staffing, and just trying to keep your businesses open. And we realize that. So hopefully, you know, the city's been a good partner and readily available to help where we can. And in the presentation, we'll show you what the city's been able to do to help, as well as what it can do going forward. I was going to start off the presentation with I'm a lawyer and a politician, which is 2 bad things for most people. So I was going to start off with a lawyer joke, but then it hit a little too close to home, and I thought I'd try to get some audience participation. Does anyone know a good lawyer joke or politician joke? Or are you all going to be too nice? We got one.
Yeah, I have one. Yeah, you know what you call 5 lawyers in the bottom of the ocean chained together? A good start.
That's great. Thank you. Chet, it looks like you unmuted. Are you going to?
It was really just to tell Stan that I do not approve of this line of joking around. This man works very hard. And
oh, whatever. All right.
I'm just playing with you. Come on.
All right. We'll move on from there. All right. So obviously COVID is, it's on our mind constantly, whether it's in your personal life or in business life. So we are going to do a brief COVID update. We as a nation hit a grim milestone this week, 500,000 dead, more than we've had in the 3 last wars combined. So it's very real, and it's by no means gone away, but the trend is going in the right direction. You'll see here, this is Orange County. You'll see total cases and deaths, but you'll also see a trend line for the 7-day average moving very significantly downward. The 14-day count of cases, that means the cases for the last 14 days, is down 65% from 2 weeks ago. Hospital and ICU numbers are also down to late November figures. So this is very good. Very good news. Hopefully that continues. And obviously that affects all of us because that dictates when we get to open up more fully. On this slide, you'll see, I just thought it was a good time to update everyone on the where we are in terms of the tiers. We're currently in the purple tier. You'll see that the purple tier, there's some points that need to be met before we move down into the red tier, including number of daily new cases per 100,000 residents. So to get down into the red tier, we need to be down to 4 to 7 as a county, down to 4 to 7 new daily cases per 100,000 residents. This is our only number of the 3 data points that's keeping us in the purple tier. Our test positivity rate is good. Well, it's still high, but it's good enough to get us into the red tier if all other data points are met. And then our health equity quartile positivity rate as a county is also within the red tier. This is a measure of the county doing a good enough job of ensuring that vaccines and testing are spread throughout the county and ensuring that underserved populations are being served in terms of COVID. So if the current rate, the current trends continue, we think we'll get down into the red tier for the adjusted daily case rate. That means under 8%, under 7 daily new cases per 100,000. And then 2 weeks after that, the county would be able to move into the red tier. So we're thinking possibly mid-March. Is that right, Chet? Is that your understanding as well?
That's exactly right. We got about a little bit more than a 1% drop day over day. So again, like the mayor is saying, definitely trending in the right direction. Given the 2-week lag time, we're probably looking at that 2nd or 3rd week of March before we drop into that 3rd tier. But that's where things start to open up a little bit more, indoor dining, growing the capacity within retail spaces to 50%. It just shows that, some of the measures that the state has put in place and the county has put in place are working, and hopefully we're past this last surge.
So on the vaccine distribution, Chet and I participate in a weekly call with Orange County Health Director and the county CEO, and I think Chet participates in an additional call other than that Friday call. There are many paths for the vaccine distribution. We can go through this all, but really the short summary is there's still not enough vaccine. Not all the vaccine that comes into Orange County is controlled by the county. A lot of it goes directly to providers, but about 40,000 doses a week does do go to the county, and the county is using up 100% of those doses every week. So the county has pressed, we at the city level have pressed, and all the other mayors are pressing as well for additional vaccine allocation to Orange County and the West Orange County cities. That includes us, Seal Beach, Cypress, La Palma. We've been pushing for additional resources here, additional vaccines, and also a pod site where we can vaccinate people either in Los Alamitos or one of those neighboring cities. But again, the vaccine quantity really is the issue, and we're unlikely to get a pod locally until there's more vaccine available. I mean, the good news is, you know, we think the supply, everything we're hearing, and you've probably read a lot about this in the news as well, we think this supply is going to increase dramatically in March and then even more in April, both from the Moderna and Pfizer vaccines, but also Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which is before the FDA for approval tomorrow. So hopefully that means those vaccines will be here in Orange County in the next couple of weeks. There's also been some recent chain of distribution disruptions because of weather. And so some of the pods this week had to shut, or last week had to shut down, but those are getting back up, and those are moving along. So right now we've been in phase 1A, which includes law enforcement, healthcare workers, adults 65 and older. And now we are moving into phase 1B as well. And 70% of vaccines, this is a state mandate, but 70% of vaccines will be allocated to the phase 1 folks, and 30% to the phase 1A folks. And then the remaining 30% will be set aside for the phase 1B folks, which include teachers, food service, grocery, childcare providers, emergency services. Again, we're asking for more vaccine and a pod, but that likely won't happen until there's more supply. There are 3 super pod locations right now: Disney, Anaheim Convention Center, and SoCa. Eventually, when there's more vaccine, more pods will open up. And at that time, you know, we'll probably need help with volunteers. We'll get to that slide, however. I think, Chet, you visited one of the pods, right? Was it the Disney pod?
Right. So I actually had an opportunity, and it's something that's worth mentioning. So all Orange County cities are supplying staff to get out to these pods. We have a team that's been going for the last couple of weeks, 2 people here, 1 person here, out to the different pods to help support getting the shots into arms. So I was actually out at the Disney pod earlier in February. Incredibly well organized. Those of you that have been through the process already probably can comment on this as well. But the real, I guess, impressive part about the way that these pods have been stood up, and my hat is off to OCFA and the incident management team, who basically were handed the ball on this in January, you know, right around New Year's Eve, and spent, you know, 4 days putting their heads together, coming up with a plan, and being able to get it up and active in a short period of time. It's really nothing short of miraculous, but they have the capacity to put 10,000 people through these sites easily. The only hindrance at this point, and it's kind of what the mayor has been getting to, is vaccine and the availability of those doses. So as that supply and demand arc starts to flatten out, I think we're going to see more and more people being pushed through these pods. And I'll say, just for myself, you know, someone that spends a lot of time dealing with you know, issues and complaints, and you know what we need to fix, being out at the pod and, you know, checking people in to get their shots and everything was probably one of the more rewarding experiences of my life. And I've never been around so many thankful people before in one place. Makes sense that it was Disneyland, I guess. Anyway, it was a great experience, and there'll be a slide later on to show how exactly you all can get involved if you're interested.
Thank you, Chet. So how to get a vaccine. I think most folks have heard of Othina, the Othina app. It had some significant issues when it first went online. It's been improving. I think the county's putting a lot of attention towards improving it, and they have done so. The state is also using an app called My Turn for their pods. They've got a pod in LA County and some other counties as well, not in Orange County. There may be a push to move the Athena registration process to My Turn, but we know the county's pushing back on that. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But in addition to Athena, we know some CVS's, Walgreens are also vaccinating. Kaiser is vaccinating. Hogue, I understand, is vaccinating, though I don't have much information on that. And then UC Irvine from time to time gets allotments from the state as well. So if you have not been vaccinated, if you're in one of the eligible groups, make sure you check with your medical provider, check with the Athena app as well. 600, so this slide shows that through the Athena app, 200,000 doses have been administered, but this is solely directly through the county. In total, 645,000 residents in OC have been vaccinated through all sources. That includes CVS, Walgreens, Kaiser, and other medical providers. So it's moving along well, and it should pick up pace soon with the goal of, I think the county goal is to have everybody vaccinated by July 4th. Is that right, Chet?
You got it.
Got it. Yep. All right, so right now, because there's only 3 pods, the city is providing some assistance, as Chet mentioned, but there has not been a huge need yet for volunteers, but there will be as more vaccine comes in and more pods open up. So we would encourage folks, you don't have to have medical training, but we would encourage folks to sign up at the county website, 10C, but our city website has all the information. You can link to, get all the information and link to that site from the LaSalle city website as well. So just because there's been a pandemic does not mean that the city has shut down. In fact, it's been more active, many times through virtual means, virtual city hall, virtual community center. But when you pick up the phone and call 911, you're still gonna get the police department. When you call for other city services, you're still gonna get a response. The city's being nimble, available. Some cities sort of shut down when this happened or reduced services. We certainly did not do that. On the top picture, can anyone see which outfit Chet is in? Is that him in the unicorn or the bunny?
This is a joke running around City Hall because there's some comments that I do not wear enough colorful shirts. So there you have it. I actually did wear a colorful shirt at one point during my career. So there you go.
Great job, Chet. All right, so what did the city do for businesses? The city had a grant program providing $5,000 grants. We had an application process. We handed out, we're right around 50 grants for $250,000 for Los Alamitos businesses. Many of you know that the city granted outdoor business expansions. In normal non-COVID times, a lot of this outdoor dining would not be permissible under our code because of parking issues. So normally it's not permitted, but here, we cut through the red tape, allowed businesses to open as quickly as possible. Over-the-counter approvals were made for outdoor expansions. City does not want to be an impediment. We don't have a ton of tools in our toolbox, but those that we do have, we try to utilize for the benefit of the businesses. There's a business assistance web page on the city webpage. It's a portal to all the different federal, state, and county grants that are available. It's updated constantly, and updates are pushed out on social media. So if you haven't seen that, please take a look and please check it often. We also have now faster processing to assist businesses with applications, permitting, other things. Everything can be submitted online now. You don't have to make a trip to City Hall. Our city's small, so it's not a far trip, but we know you're all busy. So you can use email to get approvals and to deal with the city, Zoom calls. Again, we're being nimble to try to be responsive to the business needs. We're also going to be making a lot of IT improvements over the coming months to further that assistance to businesses. We're also open to ideas for partnering with the chamber and chamber businesses like today. Thanks again for the invite. We also put out a business spotlight on social media. Chelsea does a Q&A with local businesses, and then we end up highlighting those on social media and through LoSal TV. Eventually, I understand there's going to be an economic development website on the city's website, or linked to the city's website that'll highlight businesses. We also put together on the city level a restaurant guide listing all of the local restaurants in Los Alamitos to try to do what we can to drive traffic to your businesses. So many of you have probably heard there's an economic stimulus package being discussed. It's a lot of money. It may get voted on as early as Friday, and then the reconciliation process will take a couple of weeks thereafter. And it may be on the president's desk by the week of March 9th. So this affects our businesses and our city. I mean, it provides a lot of loans, grants, paycheck protection funding. It's basically another round of stimulus. It'll be for businesses, but it'll also be, your customers will be getting additional money, which, hopefully they'll be using to frequent your businesses. The city may also get funding, which we can use for economic development. The last relief packages did not include direct assistance to the cities. So as a city, we've certainly been impacted by COVID as well. Some of the things our Recreation and Community Services Department, led by Emmeline, who's on the call, has put together are listed here. Many events. This speaks to how the city has pivoted and become active to try to engage our residents. The city did more with less. We added things we've never done before, like wellness calls to seniors. We have the senior grocery program, some modified youth programs, some virtual, some in person, with appropriate distancing measures. So, they've done a wonderful job, and I understand they're a finalist for 2 awards as a result of their efforts. And many cities, including a lot of larger cities in Orange County, have reached out to our recreation department to get ideas for their own programs. So a job well done there. Here's an image that shows some of the events. These events draw people to town, get people out, get people hopefully into some of our businesses. It also, these folks that go to these events get our marketing materials. It helps grow our marketing capabilities, again, which benefits our city and our business community as well. You'll see here the top left corner, the 4th of July, drive up 4th of July. I was hesitant to go forward I was really nervous about going forward with that 4th of July event, but the rest of the council, we pushed forward, and it went off, and it was a great success. Music and movies took place. It was more of a drive-in format as opposed to in past years where it was a park format where you sat down, in lawn chairs and things like that. But it was a great event. I went to a couple of those. Hopefully some of you got a chance to go as well or get involved. Winter Wonderland, the Bikes and Bites event also pulled some folks into local businesses, into the restaurants. There's a lot of senior club activities, neighborhood events, and activities like decorating your lawn, like a front yard zoo with stuffed animals. I know my kids participated. It just really helped to keep that sense of community we have. I know at least my neighbors loved those events. Drive-through trunk or treat, and then Serve LoSal still went forward and will be going forward again this year as well. So what's next? There's a lot on the plate at the city level. Some of the things we have listed here include the regional housing needs assessment. This is something we're dealing with on the city level. There's a state unfunded mandate for cities to provide additional housing. We don't really have much space for additional housing. As you all know, we're pretty built out. So we're pushing back as much as we can on the state. But we have to use a variety of tools to try to meet the numbers that the state is forcing on us. And we're doing that. The council is concerned about this. We have to be careful about how we approach more housing and to try to make sure that it won't negatively impact our businesses. There's a lot of other stuff Sacramento's doing, which we oppose regarding zoning, regarding, they're essentially trying to remove single family zoning from California cities. So we're going to oppose that as much as we can, and hopefully their efforts to do that will not be successful. One thing everyone should be aware of is that the Orange County Sewer District will be doing a lot of work on Los Alamitos Boulevard and Catella, a little bit on Lexington and Oak as well. They're going to be rehabbing the trunk sewers going down both directions of the street. It's about 10 months of work in Los Alamitos. So there are going to be some significant disruptions. Near businesses, there were surveys done and businesses, not surprisingly, indicated in response to the surveys that they would prefer to have the work done at night versus in the day. They don't want to disrupt traffic to their businesses. Whereas the work being done near residents, the residents in response to surveys indicated they would rather have that work done during the day so it doesn't disrupt their sleep. So this is something to just keep in mind. This will start likely in July. More information will be available on the city website, but there will be disruptions. Fortunately, this is a once every 50-year project, so it'll happen now. And then Chet and I, fortunately, the next time this happens, we'll be dead. Right, Chet?
That's my plan, sir.
All right. So we won't have to worry about it. The city is putting together an active transportation plan. Most of the work has been done on this. The short summary on the active transportation plan is that we are trying to build a more connected community and make the city more walkable and more bikeable. And we have to have a plan in place for when grants become available, because we're hoping to get a lot of the improvements that need to be made paid for by, through other sources, through state, county, or other agency grants. So we're putting together that plan and hopefully it'll make our city, again, more walkable, more bikeable, and more, feel even more of a community than it is already. In line with that, we are putting together a town center specific plan for the center of Los Alamitos. The idea is to build a special place to draw people to the center of our city. We have to account for parking, entertainment, business involvement, but it's an additional opportunity potentially for property owners and developers to take advantage of new opportunities. If it were up to Chet, sorry, Chet, if it were up to Chet, he'd put a huge parking structure, like a 10-story parking structure in the center of town, and that would take care of a lot of our problems. I know, Tanya, I also shook my head when he brought this up, but this would take care of a lot of the issues that we have in terms of developing a town center. Parking is always an issue in Los Alamitos, but these are some of the things we're working on moving forward. So on finances, I'm sure you all know, and we've done presentations to the chamber before about the fiscal issues the city was facing moving forward. In November, our residents approved Measure Y for a sales tax increase. The idea is to ensure that the city will continue to operate and we can maintain the good quality of life that we've had in Los Alamitos. The council takes this approval by our residents very seriously. Our stewardship of their funds and their sales tax money very seriously. And so we've adopted this fiscal accountability pledge. The council adopted this in October. And then once we got 2 new council members, we re-adopted it again in January. The idea is we're letting our residents and our businesses know what we're going to spend the city resources on. We're not going to go crazy and waste money or do anything like that. Our focus is 911 response times. When our residents and our businesses call 911, we want an officer there when you need them there very quickly. Good safety, a safe community is good for both our residents and our businesses. So that's key. I mean, many of you probably know that Part 1 crimes have increased over the past year. This is partly as a result of COVID. And partly as a result of some other changes, including some changes to state law. But our PD has been understaffed for the past couple of years. They've made sacrifices because of our budgeting issues. And so we're hoping to get them back to a place where they're fully staffed and we can adequately address the issues that they address, including crime in our city. We're also going to use the money to continue our programs, our events, the things that make Los Alamitos such a great place. We're going to use some of the funds for economic development, infrastructure improvements. It's all in the Fiscal Accountability Pledge, which is on the city's website as well. The key is we want to keep Los Alamitos special. It is a great city. It's been a great city for a long time, and we want to ensure that it stays a great city. Our events and our sense of community and our quality of life would not be possible without our partnerships with local businesses, nonprofits, the base, the school district, the chamber. And these partnerships benefit both the city and those entities as well. So we look forward to further partnerships in the future. There's always a lot of partnership and sponsorship opportunities. There's a partnership program. And we do need all of your help to make these events work. And like I said, it benefits both sides. And hopefully these events help make your businesses successful as well by drawing in customers. We're almost done here, but just a reminder, we have to keep protecting each other. We have to continue to follow the recommendations that are being made. We don't want the numbers to go back up and then we have to close down again. These things will help us get the numbers down. The vaccines are really helping a lot as well and will continue to help. But let's take care of each other and let's make sure we can get back open and hopefully back to normal life as quickly as possible. Chet, did I miss anything? Is there anything additional before we open it up to questions?
No, I think you nailed it. Well played.
Okay. All right. Well, again, thank you, everyone. We have some time for questions. If anyone has any questions for us. Let me figure out how to stop sharing here. No questions. You all are too kind. We want questions. We want tough questions for Chet, especially.
I was going to say, this is the greatest presentation of all time. You're all invited to the next council meeting.
All right. Well, thank you again. We appreciate all that you do, and feel free to reach out to the city with any questions, concerns, ideas, partnerships, anything like that. And we hope to see you all soon. Thank you so much.
You know what? Sorry, this is Tom here from Wahoo's. I had trouble unmuting. If I could ask a question, please. And this is a national issue, but wondering on a local level in regard to homelessness. We're confronted with this issue almost on a daily basis. And I was wondering if there's any special programs the city has with the homeless population that we have to address the issue.
Sure. Go ahead, Chet.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So, and Tom, thank you for the comment and the question. So I think you all know that, over the last couple of years, we've seen a spike, quite frankly, in the number of homelessness or people that are experiencing homelessness out there in the community. Obviously, this impacts our business centers and different places with regards to cleanliness and making sure that patrons feel safe coming to our businesses. So what we've done, and the chief can jump in if I miss anything, is we put together a homeless liaison team, which essentially is a group of officers that have been specially trained in order to deal with issues that come up within these interactions. De-escalation, how to actually get people matched up with services, and then also some mental health training with regards to things to look for, how to react to those things when they happen out there in the field. The long and the short of it is that there simply is not enough money to go around at the county level with regards to finding different places for homeless individuals to seek shelter. And there's obviously a section of this population that do not want to be in shelters. Now, that being said, we have to continue to do what we can on our side. And so what we have done at the direction of the council is to try to be proactive, try to make contacts wherever we are, but we do need your all's help with moving this thing forward, which is allowing us to actually, on your behalf, enforce some of the trespassing rules that can be enforced on your properties. And so with the help of the city attorney, we've drafted essentially a letter that you'll be able to sign and give to us that'll allow us to actually go through this process, contact the individuals if they're on your property, and be able to find a resolution for them to go to a shelter or some other place where they might be able to receive some services. So what I'll ask you, Tom, is that we get you matched up with one of our captains in order to make sure that your property ownership and the different businesses around you are on board, so that we can get one of these things signed, so that, you know, in the event that there is an issue, we can step in as quickly as we can. But it does take a partnership, you know, on your side and our side to make this thing work. One of the things that we are looking at too is, obviously we participate in the North Orange County Spa. So there are places for these individuals to go. We just got to get them matched up with services and get them to where they need to be. So again, Eric, I don't know if there's another angle to that you want to explore.
Actually, thank you, City Manager. Just so we're clear, the spa is not actually a spa. It's service planning area.
Right, good point.
So we don't actually get them to a spa, but it's a service planning area that we participate in. In fact, one of my captains is attending a meeting now with Maria O'Connell, and they were involved in helping to stand up a couple other homeless shelters around the county, in Buena Park and in Orange and Anaheim, those kinds of places, so that we do have places for these folks that are willing to move into. Our most difficult, obviously, is those folks that are either mentally ill, which is another route that we take, or just you know, they just don't want to go because they don't want to give up their alcohol, drugs, that kind of thing. They'd rather just stay out on the street. But as the city manager said, and I think we had it posted on our website, but we'll certainly go around. If you have any questions, you can call the police department, and we can connect you, like I said, with Maria O'Connell, Captain O'Connell, to provide you the form that we just had put together with the city attorney. And then what it just essentially allows us to make us to take a citizen's arrest from you without you actually being there, when there's a person that meets the criteria for being on the property that shouldn't be on the property, and whether they're homeless or not. So that's it.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that. And anything we can do, we're glad to participate.
Thank you, Tom.
I have a question. What is the city doing to drive new businesses to the city?
So thank you for asking that one, simply because it leads me exactly where I want to go. So you're all business people, and so you're all here because you see this as a use of your time, that there is a return on that investment. One of the things that the city is looking to do, or looking to expand in this coming year, is our economic development efforts. Largely, in the past, the city has taken, I think, and I think to the city's benefit, a step back and said, you know, the city businesses, let's get out of your way and let you continue to grow and flourish and such. What I think some of the things that we would be served for here in the city, we'd be served well by, is to look at some of the businesses that we don't have in town right now and figure out ways to try to attract them. So this gets down to the nuts and bolts of just a true bare bones economic development plan, which is looking for ways to attract different businesses. That means categorizing what exactly the actual opportunities are, looking at the open spaces, trying to match them up with businesses that can fit into those spaces, and then making those contacts and trying to draw them in. And honestly, that's part of what we'll look to partner with the chamber on, is how exactly do we draw these businesses in? And part of that is, again, showing that return on investment. Part of our pitch as a city will be, hey, look at the number of events that we put on, look at the number of programs that we do. We're clearly a city that punches above its weight when it comes to its overall size. We might be a city of 12, 1,000 people, but we operate much like a city of 75, 100,000 with the type of events that we have and the type of programs that we have. We reach people that are well outside of our borders. So our value, at least in my eyes, to the business community is our ability to market, our ability to reach those people that are beyond our borders, and to essentially use the partnerships that we have in order to promote your businesses to that larger community. So that's one of the things that we'll be focusing on here in the new year, is building an economic development team, getting everybody lined up into what exactly our marketing program looks like, and trying to see ways that we can maybe cross market our businesses and yours. And then essentially trying to package that up and, take it out to the different developers and property owners that are out there and say, these are the type of, complementary businesses that we want to try to bring in town in order to support the businesses that are already here. So again, I think with the council's blessing, there will be a focus on economic development in the new year.
Thanks, Chet. And we want to thank our speakers today for providing us great information about what's going on with the city and how it affects our businesses. So we have an upcoming mixer. Manny, you have the slides, or can you get the slides? Okay. We have an upcoming joint mixer with the Seal Beach Chamber on March 18th, and we're looking for donations for door prizes. Hope that many of you can join us in that event. And then our next virtual networking meeting will be March 25th, and Troy Edgar will be presenting. Troy is the former mayor of Los Al and recently served as CFO for Department of Homeland Security. He will be sharing about his experience in Washington and how it affects our city. And now, if we have any shout outs.
This is Teresa. I have a shout out for the city. They repaired our street on the corner of Florista and Reagan, where we had damage on the curbs, and it was causing some citizens falls. And so they came out and they did a beautiful job cleaning up the area of that Reagan and Florista. So thank you.
I would also like to give a shout out to the city and the Development Services Department. They have been hosting a series of community meetings on one of the biggest pieces of legislation to hit the solid waste and recycling industry ever in the state of California. There is one community meeting still to come, so I encourage all of you, if you haven't participated in that, to please do so. It's very informative, and the city's done a fantastic job.
Okay, thank you. And I'd like a shout out to the businesses that have donated to the Printmasters Art Contest, and particularly to the News Enterprise for the great coverage that we're getting. Thank you, David Young. Okay. And we'll end with a quote for today. Thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks Chet and Mark for the great presentations. Hope to see you next month. And we'll end with a quote for the day from Tiger Woods. Winning is not always the barometer of getting better. Go out there and get better today.
Thank you all for joining us.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
All right.